Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sallam. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, we're going to discuss tonight a lesson related to the rules of fasting, and it's chapter 5. So as we are continuing our lessons, inshallah, tonight we're going to present this lesson, the first half, and then we complete the second half since it's too long, several pages, and we need to discuss about some things that necessary that we need to give, uh, its appropriate explanation. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to his messenger, to his prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. O prophet, and say, O prophet, my Lord, increase me in knowledge. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been asked to say that, and also as his ummah, that's applicable to us to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that kind of approach, and whether it's you say it in a saying or you wish it from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you with the knowledge, especially the knowledge of Islamic studies. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to say after Salatul Fajr, the prayer of the dawn prayer, after he finished it, every morning he used to say, Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a wa rizqan tayyiba wa amalan mutaqabbila. So, Allah, oh Allah, I'm asking you to give me, the knowledge, beneficial knowledge, and a good sustenance, and the accepted good deed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you ask him every Fajr, after Fajr, then that's something that you do in the same thing that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam he used to do, and that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what is expecting from us, to ask him anything that we wish. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when Allah wishes good for someone, he grants him understanding of religion of Islam. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wishes for you that you will understand Islamic studies in a better way, and also you will apply in a better way, that also as you are following the footsteps of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as the footsteps of the guided generations of Islam, first 3 centuries of Islam, they were guided people, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made among them righteous ulama, scholars of Islam, that they disseminated the knowledge of Islam. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us join their ranks, and friended with them by the next day of Akhirah. So a hadith narrated by Al-Bukhari and Muslim by the authority of Muawiyah ibn Sufyan radiallahu anhum. May Allah be pleased with them, him and his father. The necessity of Muslims to gain understanding about their religion it's absolutely something that we cannot ignore, and the people, they need to have some basic Islamic studies, at least, in their, so that way they have to practice their Islam accordingly. So some basic, everybody cannot become a scholar, but at least you have to have some kind of knowledge that it's not necessary for you all the time to go and ask a sheikh. When you have those basic stuff, in your in your memory, then you save it yourself for a lot of trouble coming to you, because sometimes you may do something that you don't know how to do it, and then you may ask it to make kafara or something like that. So the other thing that we're going to mention, inshallah, in this lesson is the word of siyam. The sheikh, he put it in this lesson. The word of siyam is it's fasting. You abstaining from eating and the not to eat, making that the things that stop it, that you're supposed to be always using it, eating it, drinking it. So when you abstain from those things, it's called siyam. And from Islamic, the perspective, terminologically, it's called the make an intention to abstain from mufattirat, the things that will break your fasting. Is going to have the terminology, that's where it fits. And those things are divided into two. There are concrete ones that, like eating and drinking and, anything that will give your body nutrition and an energy. That's considered, the food stuff. And the other thing is, the mating with your wife during the daytime, and that's also, it's considered something that will break your fasting. And the other thing, which is abstract ones, are the backbiting, the attitudes, related behaviors that someone will do. But most people, they are they consciously aware about the during Ramadan not to do those things. But sometimes shaitan can let your tongue slip and say things that you were not intending to say or do. And sometimes some people, they get fight into that, and all those things you need to avoid, because it can cause you, it can annul you, it can nullify your fasting, it can decrease your ajr, it can cause you your ajr to share with someone during the day of judgment. So all those things that you need to avoid for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and for sake of your fasting, because you don't need to fast and find out in the future, the day of the judgment, in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your some of the days you fasted were nothing but thirst and hungriness. So we need to be careful about those things. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون, in Surah Al-Baqarah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also said, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ. Whomever of you sights the month, he must observe the fast for that month. So the both ayats are in a series of ayats that connected together. The first one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was reminding us that fasting was obligatory and upon us, it's made obligatory upon us, as it was obligatory upon the people before us, the people who follow the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the past. So the reason the Sheikh brought this ayah again here is that to remind you the importance of what you are are practicing right now. Intentionally not fasting during Ramadan without an excuse is a grave disobedience and one of the greatest of sins. The Sheikh said, if someone breaks the fast, with the intention not to fast, because he's not sick, he's not traveling, and so on. So then that person, he must make up, he must first repent and then also make up for another days, that the days he missed, according to the days he missed the fasting. So if someone, the mates with his wife, and that he breaks up, he breaks the fasting, then that person, he has to pay a fidya, expiation for that day, and that's it is sequentially what he's paying. It's this type of fidya, this type of expiation is sequential. So first, it's requested from him to free slave, and then the second one is to fast. If he cannot do that and he cannot find, then he has to fast 2 months. That's the not being apart. The month and then after month. That's 2 months following one or the other. 60 days or whatever the months that 60 days he has to complete. Fasting consecutive months, or feeding 60 poor people if he is not able to fast for 2 consecutive months. So most of the people, this stuff very tough, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made this kind of the expiation and the fidya. It's very tough, and it's not easy to come up anyone to come up with this. The least one and the least easiest one is the 60 poor people, the feeding 60 poor people. That's the easiest one. But the other two are tough, because if the person can do that, he must do, and that's enough for that person to make him regret not to do what he did while he was fasting during the Ramadan. And the fasting has two pillars, and those two pillars are, number one is the intention. You have to make a niyyah for your fasting. Number two is abstaining from mufatrat. Number two, to abstain from things that we mentioned that are important to be avoided. And Umar, the second Caliph, Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, reported that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, actions are bought by intentions, and each person will have put that which he intended. Narrated Al-Bukhari and Muslim. So the niyyah and intention is very important. So whatever that you make intention for, is that what's is going to be the counted for you. So and our intention can lead us to grave consequences sometimes. So we need to be very careful what you are thinking about, and what kind of decisions you are taking as you try to make intentions. Whoever abstains from mufatrat, but he did not have intention to fast, then he is not fasting at all according to Islamic law. If somebody abstains from not fasting, he didn't make intention to fast, and he's not and he's not eating. So that way, there is no way that person he can complete, because he's missing one of the important pillars of the fasting, because that intention is very important. And also, if somebody makes a niyyah or intention to fast and he's eating or she's eating, it's also contrary. So it has to be intention and abstain from mufatrat. And the Prophet ﷺ said, whomever does not make intention to fast before dawn, then there is no fast for him. Narrated Ahmad and the compilers of the Sunan on the authority of Hafsa, may Allah be pleased with her. So the Prophet ﷺ in this hadith, he's saying that you have to make your intention on daily basis. Some ulama argue that one niyyah, one intention for the whole of the Ramadan is enough, but it's a good idea always to refresh your your intention. And the majority of scholars say it's necessary to make the intention to fast during the night, every night for the following day. According to the hadith that we just mentioned, that's what most of the ulama are are referring to their fatwa and their opinion. But Imam Malik differed from them, and he said one niyyah, one intention is sufficient for the whole month. And so inshallah, we're going to also give you a little bit about the things that related to fasting. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَالْآنَ بَاشِرُوهُنَّ وَابْتَغُوا مَا كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَكُمُ الْخَيْطُ الْأَبْيَضُ مِنَ الْخَيْطِ الْأَسْوَدِ مِنَ الْفَجْرِ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in this ayah, now it's lawful for you to have sexual or intermingling with your wife, intercourse with your wives, and seek what Allah has ordained for you, and eat and drink until the white streak of dawn becomes distinguishable from the darkness to you. And this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, the lifting the and made the nasakh for prior ruling that was there, and they couldn't eat the Sahaba and the Prophet ﷺ from the sunset, except from sunset to the Isha. So from Maghrib and Isha, they had to do all those things, and when it passes, they couldn't eat. There is no suhoor, no. And that's the opinion of the Mufassirin, as they were quoting from the Sahaba themselves. So, and then when this ayah came as a sabab nuzul, as the revealing reason of the ayah, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them the permission to have all those things during the night time. So from sunset to the dawn until the second adhan is made, then they have to do all those things. They are free to see their wives and eat, drink, and also they make the suhoor, which has a more barakah. So the above mentioned first, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala permitted three things: having intercourse with their wives, and seeking, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordained for them to have children and offsprings, because of the mating with their wives. Number two is eating, and number three is drinking. So those things are been extended from Maghrib to from the dawn till the dawn, until the second adhan is called, and then that's when they stop everything and then focus their fasting until next night, next Maghrib. Then they break their fast, and then that's how they finish the whole month, whether it's 29 or 30. So from things that also break the fasting are included, the things that place of intercourse, intentionally ejaculating, masturbation, kissing, touching, so on. It may cause, some of them, kissing and touching may cause some people to have the just the unnecessary or unintended ejaculation for some people. But the majority of the people, they won't have that kind of feeling. But some people, it could cause them that kind of unnecessary and unwanted situation. And there is a divine hadith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, except for fasting, it's for me. And as he leaves his food, drink, and desires for my sake. And so this hadith is just partial hadith. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, anyone who leaves and abstains from the desires and food and drink and so on, he's fasting for the sake of me. So we do every action for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but this hadith is telling us the fasting is more important, more is needed for because no one knows that if we are hiding with if we are hiding from the people and eating in a private places, or we are drinking, the water or juice or whatever. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is boosting that the ajr that someone will get for the fasting. It's enormous, it's huge, it's big. So we need to make sure that we fast sincerely. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts from us, the fasting is very, very uh, beneficial for us in order to get Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala acceptance and to reward us better next life, inshallah. And if someone, they touches his wife and kisses, and usually doesn't break the fasting, because the Aisha reported from the Prophet ﷺ, he used it to kiss and touch her, and he was fasting. But she said he had more control than the Sahaba. She was telling them that he was, able to control himself, to control his desires, and most of the people, they are not that. So unintentionally, the people, if someone kisses his wife and then intermingles, then it can become unintentional ejaculation can come out, or something called nocturnal emission. So either one, you need to avoid, because if someone feels that something like muddy, so muddy is like, it's a different from the the many. So maybe if he's out of his feelings comes something, that's considered nijasa. It's he needs to clean himself, but it's not considered breaking the fast as the other ulama mentioned. So the other thing that people need to avoid are nutritional injections, blood transfusions, and stuff like that, and anything that substitutes for food and drink, anything that you can get energy from there. So the other things that some people, they put in their ears some kind of the drugs, maybe sometimes in their nose. So those are not considered breaking the fast, because you're not going to get from it any kind of nutritional value. So you can still be fasting. If you are sick and you need those kind of medications, you can continue putting that into your ear and into your nose. But make sure you don't swallow. Sometimes it becomes more excessive. You can swallow and it can go into your throat and then go into your stomach. So make sure it doesn't go into the digestive tract. So intentionally vomiting also, it's something that we need to avoid. And if somebody is trying, if he causes himself, if you are unintentionally vomit, it has a it doesn't break your fasting. The other thing is many other things that we're going to discuss, inshallah. We're going to stop tonight right there, as we're going to progress the second part of this lesson, inshallah. So until next time, inshallah, we'll continue from there. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.